What's up, YouTube? I'm Brett from Rants. As always, guys, if y'all enjoy our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Alright, so Percy Jackson creator offers update on the Disney Plus series. This is a series that I've been waiting for just any piece of news. It's been really slow. It's not one of those that it's getting a lot of attention with all the Disney Plus, Marvel and Star Wars that's coming out. It's kind of been on the back burner a little bit, and if you're a hardcore Percy Jackson fan, you've been trying to get some details, but it's been kind of scattered all over the place. So I'm glad that we're finally getting a little bit more information about it. I'll just say this when it comes to Percy Jackson, and a lot of people are going to, disagree with me on this, but a lot of people I think will agree with me too. Percy Jackson was the only thing that ever come close to Harry Potter. When you talk about the excitement that Harry Potter brought to the books and to even the movies, Percy Jackson was the only thing that could have, if they would have had successful movie launches like what Harry Potter did, we would be putting it up there in the same category. Now a lot of Percy Jackson fans would be like, it's still up there. And I would agree, the original work from Rick Riordan, the original Percy Jackson books were great. The problem with Rick Riordan, unlike J.K. Rowling, is he kept writing. And when he kept writing, that's when I kind of got to the point like, what are you doing, man? Like some of those newer books that he was writing about, I was like, wow, you're like, it's almost like watching a Family Guy episode where they're like, hey, well, this famous One Direction does this or something along those lines. Like there was like some modern day reference to that exact year or something like that. And I was just waiting for the cutaway. Except it's in book form and it didn't work so well for me. Like I just kind of felt like Rick Riordan was trying to go along with the times more than what, let's say, a J.K. Rowling that was just trying to make a book that really spoke to every generation that read it. Rick Riordan's books, the original Percy Jackson series, I think you could read those 20 years from now. Of course, they've been out for a while now. But you could read those books 20 years from now and find just as much enjoyment out of it. I don't think you could his later works because there's so many modern day references that you might not get it. It wouldn't make as much sense. But overall, let me just go ahead and read about this Percy Jackson update. It says right here, author Rick Riordan revealed that his upcoming Disney Plus Percy Jackson TV series is off to a good start script-wise, but has yet to reach the production stage just yet. We have a couple of important meetings this coming week with the top brass at the studio for the Percy Jackson TV show. So keep your fingers crossed, Riordan wrote in his website's news section. Everyone who has read the pilot script loves it, but there will be a few additional tweaks we need to make before we send it off to its next stop, the top execs at Disney Plus. That's normal. It's script writing, and in every other kind of writing, you just expect to do many drafts. Riordan also thanked everybody who provided feedback on his script, calling their advice super positive and helpful. On whether the Disney Plus series will be well received by longtime fans, he continued, everyone is committed to making this the best show we possibly can. I remain excited and guardedly optimistic that we are on the verge of getting a first-rate project off the ground. As always, though, good things require time and patience. Stay tuned. So let me just start off by saying this. When he's talking about patience, I think he's meaning it in the extreme sense. You're going to have patience for this show because I personally don't see Disney Plus putting it out putting as much attention to it. Let me just put it this way. Putting as much attention to a Percy Jackson series as what they are with Marvel and Star Wars. They know with Marvel and Star Wars that you can put out anything from Marvel and Star Wars, and you're going to get a good reception. Like, you're just going to get an overall fan base. You can expect it to be a success. Like, there's going to be few failures. I mean, they've got, 10 Star Wars projects that'll be coming out in the next few years. I guarantee you 9 out of 10 of those will go multiple seasons. There might be one failure in it because they're kind of stretching things a little thin with some of the characters that they're getting, like maybe with that Rogue One character. Like, that show might not go full, the long haul. But, like Gina Carano's show, all of these, The Mandalorian, Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Ahsoka Tano, all those, they're going to go long distances. And Disney Plus is going to have all their resources going in that direction. WandaVision, Loki, all of those MCU shows are along with it. So where do you find room for Percy Jackson? And I get it. You can say, well, you can have many hits. You can have great shows all across the board. And you can. That's the honest truth. You can have 10 great shows on your network. But let's face it, these networks often have to prioritize what they put out there and when they put it out there. So you cannot tell me that a Percy Jackson series will get the same priority as what an MCU or Star Wars project will get. I don't believe it will. And I believe it won't, not because it doesn't have a fan base, but because it's had 2 movies that underperformed. So when you have these movies that have underperformed, you're not going to get the same, like, they're not looking at this and being like, this is gold. They're not going to get that. Like, you got a Percy Jackson series that's coming out, you might not even get all the Percy Jackson readers out there to watch it. Like, you might not, if this was like Harry Potter and you knew that you could get 90% of the fan base to watch it. I mean, look at Fantastic Beasts. Fantastic Beasts is a good example. Does it have the rate, is it as good of quality and have the publicity and the excitement around it as what a Harry Potter film has? No, it doesn't. But it still garners enough where it can get by on. I think that Disney Plus is going to look at that and go, you know what? This isn't a sure thing. I'm still skeptical on it. I'm still skeptical on believing that that it will actually get off the ground. When you hear with Rick Riordan, when he's still sounding like, we got a good shot. But he's demanding patience. So, yes, I get it. It takes a while to get everything scripts and to go through the execs and all of that stuff. I get that. I really do. But at the same time, his wording in general makes me think, okay, he's not thinking, at least on the first try or the first few years, that he's going to get something through. They might get something where we can be like, okay, there's going to be something further on down the line. But, like I said, when you're looking at all these MCU shows and you're looking at all these Star Wars projects that's coming out, you think to yourself, when's there going to be time? Like, when will it be a good time to put a Percy Jackson series out and for it to garner the attention? Because it's going to have to compete with those other shows that are in Disney Plus as well. And, they've only got so much marketing and they've only got so much excitement for fans that can go around. Like, fans are going to get big into one show and they might watch this other show. But let's face it, even fans are kind of picky at that. Most fans don't watch like 10 shows at one time. They get into something and they stay in it for a while and then they get into something else. But when you've got You get into a Star Wars show, and then you're like, oh, another Star Wars show. Ooh, another Star Wars show. Ooh, another Star Wars show. Like, you never, it doesn't get to the point where you go like, Star Wars Percy Jackson. Most people are going to be like, Star Wars. Sorry, that's just the way it works. Now, you're going to have the hardcore Percy Jackson fans going to be like, I'm choosing that. But it's not going to, you're not going to get, when you're comparing it to the MCU and Star Wars, you're not going to get the full amount of people that you normally would get for a Percy Jackson series. And then you're also dealing with the fact that there was failed movies that went with this series. So, you gotta, if you're a Disney exec, you gotta be thinking that in the back of your mind. Like, hey, we can throw money behind this, but when is this going to be a priority? I don't think it's going to be a priority anytime soon. I personally think that this is going to be something that and I hate to say this, but I'm actually starting to think that this Percy Jackson series is going to be kind of a pipe dream. That's the way I look at it. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I would love to see a Percy Jackson series out there. One that was good for the books. That followed the books the way they should have. You can't have no 30-year-old characters playing 12-year-olds. It just doesn't seem right. Like, there was some, those books were written for, like, 12-year-old characters. And they were trying to make it like, yeah, these people got their driver's license. I mean, I'm like, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. Some of that stuff seems a little strange, when you got, like, a 12-year-old going to a camp or something, you think, oh, that's kind of normal. But when you got like a 17-year-old going there, you're like, it's kind of weird and stupid. Like there's so many things, when you see some of them that's got beards and things like that, you're like, too old. So there was a lot of things that was wrong with those movies, just in a lot of different ways. They didn't follow the books like they should have. But I'm just saying, if I was y'all, I wouldn't get my hopes up just yet about a Percy Jackson series. This Rick Riordan's words have, to me, revealed that this probably isn't Disney's priority as of right now. Not to say that it won't be in the future, but you've just got to look at those lineups for all those MCU shows and all those Star Wars shows and ask yourself, when is a good time for Percy Jackson? I hope you can find that slot where there's a good time for Percy Jackson. I just personally don't see it as of right now. But, I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But as always, guys, let me know what y'all think. Leave me a comment down below if you believe that this is the right time for a Percy Jackson series, and whether you believe that it would actually be successful. Let me know, guys. And as always, thanks for watching. Y'all